You're listening to the Brand Builders Podcast with your hosts Scott Dunstan and Brian Young.
Welcome to another episode of the award-winning Brand Builders Podcast powered by the Dunstan Group. My name is Brian Young, and we are here with the president of the Dunstan Group, Scott Dunstan, and we are here with Johnny Freeman. Now, if you don't know who Johnny Freeman is, you might know the brand Johnny Fly. And let's talk a little bit about Johnny Fly. Now, we love cool shades and we love, the environment too, but what is a former race car driver, Johnny Freeman, who decided to put together new product lines of sunglasses and leather bags in a more sustainable way? How do you go from being a race car driver to being a producer of one of the coolest brands here in Charlotte? We're going to learn all about that. Now get this, the frames for these shades are actually made from recycled cotton and the arms are made from wood. So you have cotton and you have wood. Such a cool combo. Now you heard that right. Now he sells them online and from his flagship store in Noda that bears his racing name, Johnny Fly. And his leather bags, well, we'll let him tell them a little bit more about that, but we're so excited to have Johnny Fly himself with us here on the Brand Builders Podcast to tell us all about his brand, and it's going to be so neat. So let's talk about sunglasses, my man. Thank you so much, and welcome to the Brand Builders Podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me. You're too kind, too nice of an intro there.
Thank you, Johnny.
Lies.
Great to see you, man. Thanks for joining us. Tell us, man, where'd you get the entrepreneur spirit? Where'd all this thing begin?
It's definitely it comes in the family, but it's something I've always loved doing, always been passionate about. So it's I was selling rocks in my neighborhood, painting them gold and selling them as art there when I was 5, and candy in middle school, and that kind of whole thing. So I've always had something I wanted to hustle, I guess.
Did you mention a family business in that intro, or
I don't believe so.
Or did you just?
He was a race car driver.
Race car driver.
Yeah.
And was that the family business?
No, and aspiring. Like I was trying to make it, so I didn't make it. So I wasn't some cup driver F1, but I did a lot of racing. So that was what I always thought I'd be doing. So, but no, we out of high school, that's what I was doing full time. But my family business was a Charlotte-based, like they had retail stores. So I grew up under the dash of cars, working on cars my whole life. And it evolved over and started a hobby, I guess.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It is so neat. When we talk to entrepreneurs, and we just recently launched our 200th episode, it is amazing how many business owners start their intro of where'd you get that entrepreneurial spirit by selling candy or rocks or anything they possibly could. Scott Dunstan has his own story. He has his own story. Yeah, the rock one's a new one, but it's unique. It's like it's not that you necessarily were built with that, but you had that passion to succeed. You wanted to learn, and you started to hustle. And now we're going to jump into what your brand is and what you guys do. So you had mentioned a little bit that you were a race car driver. That was your passion, working with cars. Tell us, how does somebody that is so kind of in bed with that, right? Like that's kind of the path you're on, completely change that and now create some of these amazing, where you consider it Charlotte-born eyewear brand.
Definitely. It was long, obviously long story there, but it started as a hobby and something I really, really cared about. I was working back in my family business, kind of post-racing career, still holding on to the dream, but, it wasn't really going anywhere at that point. And, I found myself where I eventually I need an outlet for artistic things I always wanted to do. And something I was always passionate about was eyewear. But I was passionate about a lot of things at that time. And if I dreamed it, I made it. I'd wake up the next day and laser some new prototype, and I'd design shoes and jeans and hats and hoodies and shirts. I thought I was going to do it. We were just going to be a giant brand overnight, and I'll make all these things. And someone much smarter than I pointed out to me, hey, you're doing a lot of stuff good, but nothing's great. Like, I was spending 80% of my time on what made 20% of the money. And where is your true passion at? Where do you want to spend your time? And I was like, eyewear is my dream, but that's too big of an elephant. I don't know how I'll ever get that to be what it needs to be, because that's a really tough industry to be in. And really to get the level of quality that I wanted to eventually be at, I was like, I don't even know how to get there. And this was a different time too. It was internet, finding sourcing was much more difficult, and it evolved. So we were, I guess it was 6 or 8 months into kind of messing with the brand and building this whole online idea. And I said, well, let's hack some sunglasses together. So we found a bunch of parts and pieces from defunct brands and different stuff, and got wooden arms and screwed holes in them and took them to the trophy shop and engraved our name on them. I did about 60 of them with my brand new girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife and mother of my child, and my roommate. And we like, hey, this will last all summer. And they were gone in a couple of days. So we did about 600 ourselves while I went and learned sourcing from there and found how to get it manufactured and how to bring the designs to life. And Failed a lot of ways along the way, and which is the best part, and it kind of evolved into what it was. But it was truly a hobby there for years. I mean, I think the first couple years it was my 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. Hustle and building websites. And I love digital and graphic design and web design and social media, organic, old school social media, not what it is today, but that was a key to, I guess, early success.
When did you start Johnny Fly Company?
Officially, it was I think March of 2012, so 9 years ago, was the official website launch, and that was at that time it was a handful of T-shirts, a couple hats, and some wooden phone cases we'd lasered. So, and it evolved, and I think about 6 months later was when we launched some eyewear, and kind of rode into what it is now. So it's been a huge evolution, and I have literally on the wall I have printouts of every version of the website over time because it was so gaudy in what it was and what it is now. It's so funny to see the transition, and I give my wife a lot of credit for keeping me clean, white, light, bright, and airy now. So.
Yeah, man, it looks great. I'm on it right now.
Well, thank you.
It's neat. I love that you have that so you can see it, right? The most successful people we've had on this podcast, they fall in love with the process. They fall in love with the journey. They don't fall in love with the success. They don't fall in love with the money. They fall in love with the journey. And I think that's probably something that you look at daily, weekly, monthly and go, wow, maybe you're having a tough day. And then you look back on that and realize all the challenges that you've already overcome. And that probably gives you that extra juice to kind of get through that day.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I say my wife would call it a negative aspect of me, but I'm very nostalgic. So I love to hold on to everything. I have every piece of print material we've ever done. I've got one of everything we've ever been a part of. And I've literally probably got 2 pallets on the pallet rack up there full of just stuff that I don't need.
Yeah.
but I'm nostalgic. I love going through that stuff. I was like, one day when we have the big giant office and beautiful thing, we'll just put it all on a wall somewhere. But it's fun. Looking back, it's not, it's as much of where you've been as where you're going for sure.
100%.
Currently, how do you go to market?
As far as
is it website sales? Is it retail? Is it wholesale? Is it?
We are.
Tell us a little bit about.
Yeah, it's multi-aspect. Kind of what we're doing. We have our brick and mortar store in Charlotte, which is our flagship hub. Our warehouse is a mile down the road. Our shipping and receiving is literally in the basement of the same building. And then we've got a satellite store up in Cornelius that we launched during the pandemic. So it's still getting its feet under it, but it's great. And that's kind of home base. That's where I started on my dining room table up there in Huntersville all those years ago. So it's kind of a little bit of a homecoming for me. But, we beyond that, the direct-to-consumer of the store, which I'll talk a little bit more about, but we also do wholesale. So we've got around 50 dealers around, I guess the world actually, but majority in the U.S. That carry it, so different boutiques and brands and also doctors' offices on the prescription side. And then beyond that, we do some corporate gifting, which is a world that you guys are definitely into. And we've done some really cool collaborations and special things with different companies and unique, opportunities and giving situations. And then also with charities like similar to the Greg Olson deal that we talked about and made the great pair for R4R and Hardest Yard, where all the proceeds go to those guys. Those are kind of the 3 aspects we're playing in a lot, and between those keep us pretty dang busy. So I feel like we're always open. I've had to learn over the years to just say no sometimes because I'm always, if there's a small opportunity that could be something, I always want to have my hands in it. And then I realized that we're just so stretched out and we're a small team that do a lot of work, and definitely couldn't do it without the great people I have. But
certainly.
You do have awesome people, and I was blessed to be able to meet a lot of them at the Greg Olson Golf Tournament, which thank you not only for being able to partner with them, but creating a really amazing piece of eyewear that is tailored to them specifically, and all of those proceeds go that way. That's awesome. You mentioned when we met that you kind of gave me a little bit of insight into why eyewear, right? Like, why is eyewear the key? And one of the things that you mentioned was that, you look at everybody trying to show off their style, right? And everybody you can have unique shoes and jeans and pants and shirts and anything, hats. But there really wasn't that for eyewear, right? At least the way that you liked it and the way that you wanted to represent yourself and your branding when you went out there. Tell us why eyewear and why have you been successful in that category?
Man, I've always been a sunglass fanatic, eyewear fanatic. I mean, I did wear glasses when I was much younger too, but I remember my first cool, expensive gift that my dad gave me was a pair. I think they were Nike, but it was $100 pair of sunglasses, and that was my most prized possession. I loved it, and I've kind of been hooked ever since. I've always just gone after the weirdest, wildest, cool brand stuff. Through all the different eras, I would never wear a lot of those things that I have in a drawer, but I always look back at them because it's so funny. But eyewear is one of those things for me psychologically. It just changes your feel and your look. No matter how you're feeling about your day, what you have going on, what you're wearing, if you have the right outfit and not a right outfit, you can really show your personality and definition of who you are and what you're wanting to represent through that, or hide behind them. It's throwing shade. I mean, it's literally such a personal experience with sunglasses to me. And then eyewear in general, but that's something that was super important to me. And as a male, we can't carry handbags or we don't have all these other accessories and all these jewelry and all these things to change our outfit or dress it up or dress it down. But our sunglasses or eyeglasses can do that. So selfishly, that was what I would always thought. But it's it just makes it unique. And I couldn't find what I wanted on the market when this started. I was like, I want something different. And it wasn't there. And if I can't find it, let's see if I can make it. And it was a means to a beginning. And we started making something that was cool. It wasn't anywhere near as technological as it is now, but it was something that nobody had seen, and I didn't want what everybody else had. And the majority of all these brands are owned by one big company. And I started learning a lot about that when I was much younger. I was like, okay, this is why everything looks the same. This is why there's not better technology. There's got to be better technology out there than these old hinges, that the same ones that they were using in 1950. It's the same 3-barrel door hinge style hinge and plastic injection molded and all this mess. So over the years, that was the evolution. How do we find a better hinge and find an engineer that can build us a hinge for this? And so spring hinge and acetate out of Italy, which that acetate materials, which you touched on, is incredible, and just an evolution of trying to make something better.
So it's interesting. My next question was going to be why compressed recycled cotton frames? Is that because that was not out there, or is it also because you're now being able to challenge yourself to source the top materials to make your product so unique and sturdy and better and just something that will last? For sure.
It started, I cared about, environment and trying to do something sustainable, but, it honestly started originally with how do we make this not break? And originally it was the hinges always break. That's the first thing you break on your glasses. So we added spring hinge. We built this technology into the frame. We were still using an injection molded front section with a wood arm. And then it evolved into that. Now, because we're taking the pressure off the hinges, the plastic is breaking. So we started researching materials and sustainable materials to try to create the front. And we by no means brought this to market. I mean, acetate frames are something we see in higher end ophthalmic prescription glasses, and we're seeing it more and more in some other independent brands. It's becoming a little bit more mainstream, but it's still fairly rare to use the good stuff. And through that evolution, we learned a lot about acetate. Found a couple sourcing. None of the big guys would talk to us. None of the great ones, in the beginning. So we started with what we could get our hands on, and it really changed our perception of what makes a great frame and what you can do with it and adjust it and create. So we're basically creating a prescription medical grade frame for a standard sunglass consumer, which is typically not the thing. You're going to make the sunglass one out of much cheaper, engineering and manufacturing. So it makes it just all around better frame.
How do you go about sourcing? Because everyone has a different shaped head and different style, and ladies and men. And,
so true.
How do you keep up with that fashion? Is that part of your role, or do you have a team around you that is all about design? Or
I feed off everybody. I definitely do feed. But that is ultimately my passion is trying to come up with the next it of whatever is going to be it for us. But we also, I'm very convicted in we do not. I don't want to chase fast fashion. I don't want to chase the quick trend that's definitely not going to be here in a couple months or whatever it may be. We want something that you're going to have for a long time, that you can still break out of your drawer in 2 years and still wear it. However, we want to have whatever's fresh, new, and be on top, so you can get another pair of Johnny Flies.
That's right.
But that's we touched on. But opening the store was huge for us, and huge for me as a designer. Whether the store was making money as a retail thing, it was huge because I was able to see what people wanted and what we didn't have or what we were missing. And you can't do that on the website.
Sure.
You know that people left because they were on this page or did whatever. You can track all this analytics, but you can't do that on. You really don't know why they left on a website unless you're doing something. So in the store, and especially in Charlotte, where no one's from Charlotte, so I'm basically getting a sampling of people from all over the country all the time and with all types of different backgrounds. Learn what we're missing, and it's been a huge benefit to our product development is when it goes to national sales because the store is just the thing. So I literally, even if I'm not on the floor, I'm sitting in the back listening, and I know what we're missing or what face shape or like, hey, I wish I saw this color. If I hear it 3 times, okay, I'll think about it. If we hear it 30 times, we got to make this color or this shape or whatever it is. So it really helps us fill those gaps.
That's awesome. Something unique that we learned about your brand is that, although you are local into Charlotte and you do local pop-ups and people can find you, not only even at your brick and mortar, you have a global presence, and you started to pick up in different areas of the world really before you took off here in Charlotte. How fascinating was that, number one? But ultimately, what did that feel like? And tell us about that experience.
That was super unique. That was we were still shipping out of my house when this happened. Which was wild. I mean, it took over my house. Sometimes both guest rooms, the garage, the kitchen. Like my wife literally was like, we got married and we was still like everywhere. It was like we had a kitchen and a bedroom. The dining room was nothing else was for us at that point. The sunglasses everywhere, lenses everywhere. But at that we were all of a sudden we started seeing this big international pickup, and we're like, okay, they noticed us first, and at one point we were 60% Europe over the U.S. and Europe and Dubai and Australia. We were kind of shipping all over the place. I'm like, what in the world is going on? I was like, I must be the world's best fashion designer because I am just so far ahead that Europe loves me. And I quickly realized that that's not the case. But it was at that point in time, it was unique because the dollar was low, the euro was high. You could buy products 30% less.
Oh yeah.
And we had a cool product to put out, and we get a couple publications in France and in Britain, like Britain GQ picked us up and a couple of things, and it really just launched us. And the price point was incredible for them at the time. So we were just shipping hand over fist, which led us to partner with a guy over in Holland to open our warehouse in Holland. It's been 5 years, I believe. So we manage stock inventory and have a completely separate European website that kind of manages that territory because it's a completely different consumer and the way all that works, and it gets past all the red tape of trying to ship overseas, trying to manage the direct to consumer over there. So
that's such an interesting story. Yeah,
it really is. And how do you control like trademarks and people knocking off your brand and things like that? Is that becoming an issue or?
Yes, it was years ago. It was a little bit more. In sunglasses, like I always say, there's definitely some talent to putting it together and coming up with these shapes and working on it. But it's 2 eyes, a nose, and 2 ears. We're all working with the same thing. Someone's had something somewhat similar, like there's, unless you're making flamingo shaped pears, it's only
right.
But so different from the next guy,
Sure.
except for what materials you use and colorways, and it's like sneakers. I mean, a shoe's a shoe, but it's how you embellish it,
right.
I guess. But at the same time, it happened early on. I had like one sourcing person, that was kind of helping me overseas to put all the pieces together. And then they were taking whatever designs I had sent to them and sending them to Brazil or sending them over there. And so it's definitely happened. We look at those things all the time, and it's like, okay, you could copyright a frame shape or a frame way, but by the time you spent $10,000 to do that one frame and do the colorways and do the whole thing, by then I've already changed the frame.
Right.
By the time all that's done and I've spent all that money. So I think we just stay ahead. I always see things we did 4 or 5 years ago. I see it back out there on the market somewhere else, but now we do control all of our material and all of our sourcing are in-house. So like we directly control the acetate material and the woods and where that's coming from, and then the CNC house that may do the work for over there. So we try to control all those aspects so no one has that one key on the button, and no one's holding all of our designs and knows exactly how to get everything put together. So.
That's awesome. I guess that's the highest form of compliment in a way, right?
Yeah,
People are
yeah.
knocking off your designs.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
But it does,
It is. It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just had 704 Shop in here, and they talked about they made a shirt for Thomas Davis, and they went and did a photo shoot with him at the stadium, and they didn't know he was going to wear that into a press conference. So he did, and it just said, Thomas Davis is really good at football. Yeah. Well, that T-shirt, they said immediately after the press conference, it was getting knocked off all over the place, and they hadn't even made the launch yet, right? They were doing the photo shoot, so they had to bump everything up immediately. You know, it's just one of those things, right? Like everybody's racing for that quick buck. But like Scott said, it is the ultimate compliment. If people want to try to copy what you've done, you're doing something right. One thing I want to kind of shift the business, and we actually just had the Hardest Yard walk in here and we were waving to them. You've done an amazing job of partnering your brand with other, nonprofits, creating something that's so unique to not only raise money. Is that something that you always wanted to do in your business? And tell us what you do to not only give back to the communities, but if there are nonprofits out there, that could collaborate with you, that could have, the opportunity to create something that's totally unique. I'd love to kind of hear that experience and where that passion comes from on your end.
Absolutely. No, we love doing that type of stuff. And it's something we're very passionate about. The landscape's changed a lot in the past year or so. So we're kind of getting our feet back under us and finding, okay, here's the avenues and where we really want to put our focus on helping. But like the Hardest Yard, that was so much fun. We love doing that. And their events, we always love supporting their events and giving back for the events. But the being able to build a pair with them was humbling and amazing. And the fact that they wanted to do it with us was I love it. So, and
they're gorgeous, by the way. You guys see them. They're awesome.
They're so unique.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're awesome.
People buy them off the shelf just because they look great. And then we tell them, hey, well, all the proceeds and blah, blah, blah. Then they're, okay, give me two instead. They're super unique. But, we love doing that type of stuff. We've got a few things in the works right now with a couple other organizations that we really have been passionate to work with that soon to be released and get out there. But we always look for the right opportunity and the right people and be able to get the voice out there. So
your website looks fantastic. I was scrolling through a few pairs. It seems like your price points on the retail level are anywhere from $100 to $200 ish. Is that kind of where your target price is?
Yeah, 135 is like the majority, and 185 is what we call our Galaxy class stuff, which is a little bit more extensive engineering and metalwork and some unique specialty technologies over on that end. But yeah, we strive to have the best technology for every piece of the puzzle. Soon to be released, we've got a new lensing technology on the sunglass side that's you don't see anywhere. Instead of saying, hey, we have the same lens technology of Maui, or we have a similar lens technology of Oakley, or we have doing this, I'm ready to say I have better. And we're not too far away from that. We've been working really hard on that. And that's kind of across the whole board. I mean, I don't think we've ever, someone asked, well, what's the next product you're going to try to develop, outside of sunglasses? I'm like, I'm not done. Like we can perfect this. I mean, there's room to make this bigger and better. And that's something we're working really hard on, because we want to be on that stage.
That's pretty sweet.
That is.
Yeah. Absolutely. And price point wise, we're lower than your Ray-Ban guy.
Yeah.
We're not we're not the quick grocery store, but we're not the Ray-Ban size, but we're giving you the Ray-Ban or Maui technology and that level of quality, if not better in some areas, for a bang for the buck. And we warranty the lifetime warranty everything. If you run them over, sit on them, dog eats them, $35, we fix them. Like we want to keep them on your face.
I was just about to ask you that from like a sturdy standpoint, because the biggest challenge with any sunglasses that you buy that are $100 to $200 is it's like, I hope I don't break these. Yeah. I hope I don't drop these. But like it's inevitable. Like they're gonna fall off your head. Something's gonna happen. So that's really cool that you back everything. I mean, I would assume the reason that you back them is because you make them to last, right? Like you're not in a business of repairing or replacing, but you will if something crazy happens.
Absolutely. Well, and I mean, I have a box of like the wildest repairs that we've gotten in. Like I've got skydiving accidents, all these crazy dog shoes. I've got car accidents. I've got. We have tons of it. I keep little notes on them all. I've got a box. I want to make like a resin coffee table out of them one day. So,
so the guy hold on. I got to go back to the skydiving guy. So skydiving with $200 pair of sunglasses. Hey, to each their own. Did they just fall off? Did they just fall off in the middle of the air? Like I bet we need to find these. Skydive guy. We need to create a treasure hunt.
Find them.
I bet you they're laying in the dirt somewhere, probably still intact.
Well, so I have them because he brought them back in for repair.
Okay, I got you. I thought he just lost them midair and they're somewhere.
I know that would be fun. I know. I think he landed hard and then face planted it from what I understood.
God!
But I know. I was like,
is his face okay?
Supposedly, yeah, he wasn't bruised. So at least he said least he didn't have the nose piece version, so that'll probably hurt a little worse.
Yeah,
but
that's funny.
But for those programs, like that's definitely a loss. Like that's a marketing budget for us because our customers are our best marketing. They look interesting on your face. Everyone's gonna ask, "Hey, what the heck are those?" I mean, I was just at the coffee shop and somebody said, "Hey, I love your sunglasses," and I was like, "Oh, Johnny Fly, check it out." But we get more of that there. So keeping it on people's face is the most important because if you lose your pair, break your pair real quick, you're going to go buy whatever next Sunglass Hut, go grab what you need to grab because you need a new pair of sunglasses.
Definitely.
So if you're like, hey, nope, I'm going to send it back to Johnny Fly, I'm going to get it fixed, you're going to keep wearing your Johnny Fly. And that's the most important thing to us is keeping them on your face.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have any pair that float, like for outdoorsmen and
So they sink slowly.
Yeah. I was thinking like
hey, there you go.
Wooden cotton material. I just wasn't sure if like there was any of that technology built into some of them.
Yep. And the cotton side of things, we say that, but it's like a cotton polymer byproduct with some wood resin and all this type of stuff that makes that. But acetate's incredibly. I would say anyone go look at Mazzucchelli, Italy. Go watch their videos and see what's truly in acetate because it's a super unique process. And it's really special, but. But yeah, they sink slowly. There's nothing, a real true wood isn't going to, sink or float like that, especially now that we actually layer the wood and cross hatch it to make it stronger. We used to do a solid piece, but you get air pockets, you get little things where it's just going to break. It just has no durability. So one of our evolutions along the way. So they definitely don't float all the way, but we're working on it.
If we were to come to your retail outlet in your shop, do you have a crew there that sort of helps you like, nah, man, don't go with those. Like these look a lot better. Like this style's perfect for your face shape.
Oh, yeah.
Is that you that does that? Or like
I love
your
to do
team?
that. I've had to learn to get off the floor because I'll just get up there and I just want to talk to customers all day because I just and then I'm the worst because I don't want to take their money either. I just want to because these are my children. I just want them to have these creations. I'm so happy you love them. So I've had to learn to get off the floor a little bit more and listen and let my great team do what they do. But fitting is so much fun. That's what we have the most fun about. It's the experience coming in the store. Let us fit your face. Let us, we'll give you opinions. We'll do this. You can FaceTime your significant other and ask them what they think. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
We'll have the customer that comes in and tries on 2 pairs and said, that's the one, I'm out. Or we'll have the person that'll come in, fill the table with 14 of their options, and we have to work down into one. And the store's unique because I can say, okay, well, I can throw this extra lens that I've got in the back that's this other colorway that no one in the world has, and we can kind of change that up. But the other, fitting is our most favorite part to do, and that's why we do all these pop-ups and get out and about. Those even if we don't sell at pop-ups, it still drives traffic to the store, and you get people who learn about the brand. And prescription's a big piece of the brand now too. So
awesome.
And one of the cool things that we talked about, they close at 8:00. They're in an awesome location. It's a great spot for a date, right? You can go in there, bring your significant other, pick out some sunglasses, then go get a drink, have some dinner. It's a great spot, and the experience is what it's all about. And that's exactly what Johnny was just talking about. Like, he loves the fitting. He loves helping people out. So that's so cool. Tell us what's next. Like, what can we dream about for Johnny Fly?
So many dreams. I'm always thinking, if I waited till anything was perfect, I'd never put anything out. So that's one of those things. There's so many things up my sleeve. We have a lot of technology on the website that I'm working very, very hard on to update what we're doing online and the capability of bringing that offline experience online truly and giving you all that information that we can give you in store, but without making you read 14 paragraphs. Mm-hmm. So we're working on that online experience, even though I feel like it's pretty good right now. But it's technologically, there's some great things we can do there. Passionately, I really love brick and mortar. It's a weird time right now finding people and helping the right people. I have a great crew. I have my 6 people who do the job of 40 in my opinion. If I could duplicate all them, I would open 3 more stores right away. Yeah. Because the stores are really what put the feet on the ground and get people to try it on. I mean, in person, I believe is coming. I mean, brick and mortar's coming back in a way, at least in our industry. And there's something special about that. So. And then beyond that, July, this is the first, we're going to drop 4 new shapes. So shapes, the actual frame shape takes a long time to develop. That's something that takes a lot of R&D and a lot of back and forth. And we're going to drop 4 new shapes in July, which I've maybe dropped 1 shape a year. And
oh, wow.
That's right. I think I did 2 in 2019, and that was like a big deal. And they were both women based. So these are going to be both unisex and kind of going both ways, but this was kind of a big drop. But 2020 let us rip the notebook out and say, hey, what designs halfway figured out, and let's lock these in. And so we're super excited.
I love it.
I think late July actually, so we're not too far away.
All right, I'm coming by and
here we
I'm
go.
buying some pairs. I mean, this pair right here is let's see, your UFO. That's my wife. Like she.
Oh yeah.
That is her. That's her nugget. So like, if I could
Yep.
go, I'm gonna get some cool points today, man.
Ooh.
I appreciate it.
How far is your shop from here?
Oh, look at this.
I think it took me 12 minutes, I think, over here.
Okay.
So, yeah, not bad.
A 12-minute drive.
Get her a little surprise gift, and if they don't quite fit, so you have a
we
return
do.
policy.
Yeah,
or
quick
something
and
like
easy. Yeah, 30 days, 60-day exchange. But we're flexible. We want you to
Cool.
love them. If they sit in a drawer, you're not wearing them.
Yeah.
So we want to find what's going to work.
Your
Yeah,
best marketers.
Yeah,
you
that's
get
not-
it, man.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love your sense of business, and obviously
you.
you have a long history there.
Yeah, and we talk about this a lot. You sell a walking billboard, right?
Exactly.
I mean, your brand is something that people wear. When people fall in love with that, they become your best marketing tool because they talk to their friends, and people buy from brands that they either know and respect, or that their friends, family, colleagues know and respect. And since they know and respect this person, they're like, well, if they're wearing Johnny Fly, then it's good for me.
That's
right?
what we hear
And
the
I'm going to go
most.
check that out. So you totally understand that, man. This is so cool. I was excited to not only meet your team and look at some of the sunglasses, but it was a pleasure to get to meet you. Before we kind of wrap this up, what are some things that you want people to know, not only about Johnny Fly, that they maybe they don't know, but ultimately, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you and support you and buy your sunglasses?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're in Charlotte, come by the stores.
Yes.
If you're not, check us out online. We've got a chat there, so we help with fitting on the chat all the time.
Oh, nice.
We're launching a video chat in a couple months where we can actually talk with you, look at your face, and go over some of that kind of fun stuff.
That's cool.
AR is coming down the road, but
Yeah.
there's some cool stuff that's happening. But but JohnnyFly.com, at JohnnyFlyco, Instagram is the thing. But we all live and die by. But it's so much fun to interact with people in that kind of realm. But I think the most important thing is it's all about being unique. That's unique is our keyword and what we live by. No two pairs, because wood can't be duplicated. It's not manufactured. You can't make two pairs alike. So there's no, and same with our acetate material. Anything with the textures that's cut from one big sheet. So your spots or dots, lines, whatever the colorway is not going to be the same as the next guy. So your pair is as unique as you are.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
And a uniqueness you can only find in nature. So it's super special. So that's what we just want that out in the world and bring more people into our Johnny Fly family.
So you hear that right now. If somebody steals your Johnny Fly and you see them wearing them, you'd be like, "Bo, I know those are my Johnny Flies."
Yeah, that one has that wood
Those are-
wood vein right there.
I know exactly where my vein is on the side of my wood.
That's right.
That's awesome, dude. So I wanted to, before I guess we let you go, JohnnyFly.com. Check them out on Instagram. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome to learn more about it, but I'm just excited to see where you take this from here. It's so neat to bring in somebody that is from this area, well, at least, now, and you've now created a global brand. Whether you consider that or not, you are, right? Because you're shipping all over the world. And it's people like you that make our community great, man. Take a passion, an idea, and maybe you were going down a path that you thought was going to work in being a race car driver. But guess what? You pivoted, the word of the year, and you're doing something completely different. So if you're somebody out there and you're trying something that's not working, don't think that it's all over, right? Like you might just not be doing the right thing. Yep. There might be something else there out there. And then what you did was look inside about what you were passionate about. And you went back on that first pair of sunglasses that your dad gave you that were Nike, that were $100, that was your absolute dream. And you took that passion and now created that into a completely different career path where you were always around cars earlier.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, that's so neat.
Filled a void that I never thought I could fill with anything else. I never would have dreamed. So
Exactly.
It's super, super special.
I love it, man. Well, like I said, it's a pleasure to get to meet you. I always tell people, like, share, comment, check them out, buy a pair, especially the Hardest Yard right now. We'd love to be able to support TJ and Greg and Kara and Talbot and the whole family over there. But again, thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, you've been listening to the Brand Builders Podcast.
You've been listening to the Brand Builders Podcast, brought to you by the Dunstan Group with your host, Scott Dunstan and Brian Young. For branded merchandise and apparel that makes first impressions and ones that last, check out the Dunstan Group at dunstangroupblubrrynetp867.com.